The DB11 is the Aston Martin of choice for those craving something sleek and graceful rather than overtly aggressive. This, arguably the classiest car in the Aston range, is primarily a consummate sporting luxury GT that can also be dynamically rewarding whenever you need it to be. It's very desirable indeed. On the move, first impressions are encouraging. Almost all DB11s are sold with a Mercedes-AMG sourced 4-litre V8 twin-turbo up front, and this one's no different. If that's a disappointment for you, the rich, booming engine note, well, that really won't be. It was painstakingly tuned by Aston Martin for a unique sonic signature. This engine's properly potent too, developing 503 horsepower and a thumping 685 newton-meters of torque developed from just 2,000 RPM. And that's enough to hurl either the coupe or the Volante convertible versions of this car to 62 miles an hour from rest in no more than around 4 seconds, on the way to a top speed that Aston has decided to limit to 187 miles an hour. That's to leave room for the alternative 5.2-litre V12 AMR Coupe DB11 model that sits at the top of the range, a car that offers 630 horsepower and improves those figures to 3.7 seconds and 208 miles an hour. It's quite a bit thirstier than the V8 model though, thanks to clever use of cylinder deactivation. The 4-litre V8 model manages 28.5 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and 230 grams per kilometre of CO2. So this DB11 is quick and, wow, orally magnificent, just as Astons have always been. Can this one, though, walk the walk as well as talking the talk? The answer's yes. This machine is a GT, not a track-tamed sports car, as the brand keeps reminding us. But this part of the company's model line does at last now have a sports car-style CV. Multi-link rear suspension, near perfect 50-50 weight distribution, the adoption of torque vectoring, and a far stiffer chassis than the previous DB9 certainly all bode well for this DB11's prowess in twistier tarmac territory. And sure enough, it handles better through the turns than any GT sports car weighing the best part of 2 tons has any right to. You'll start to feel that weight a little more on particularly tight secondaries, but even then, the seemingly endless reserves of engine boost mask that mass very cleverly. The steering could use a touch more feel in extremis, but otherwise it's brilliantly feelsome and is one of the parameters that you can alter to suit your preferences via the GT, Sport and Sport Plus settings of the driving mode system. There's also a 3-stage Bilstein adaptive damping system too. And overall, well, it's true that there are better cars that you could choose in this segment for track day heroics. There are a few, though, that I'd want over this one if, say, late at night at an exclusive party in Cannes, I needed to be in Paris at daybreak. For such a jaunt, a DB11 would be, well, just about perfect. Aston Martin tells us that it aspires to make the most beautiful cars in the world. Is this one of them? There are many who would say so. Here, as you can see, we've opted for the coupe body style. The alternative Volante convertible features a special 8-layer fabric hood. Now, whichever version you prefer, distinctive touches are plentiful, starting with this sharply sculpted clamshell bonnet that features twin mesh cooling vents. In profile, possibly the first thing you'll notice is this dramatic roof strake, which comes either in a silver polished finish or, as here, in gloss black, and flows in an unbroken arc from A pillar to C pillar. Almost as distinctive is this front wing side strake, which is larger and more eye-catching than it was on the old DB9, and forms part of the so-called curly Q, that extracts high-pressure air from the front wheel arches to reduce lift. And inside? Well, it's a big improvement from what was served up by previous Aston models. Exquisitely stitched leather combines with intricately fashioned design highlights to attract your attention, and the different construction of the aluminium monocoque has freed up more interior space too. As usual, Aston has borrowed parts from another brand, in this case its technical partner Mercedes. The stalk off the steering wheel and this 8-inch centre dash infotainment screen, for example. There's also a digital instrument binnacle screen to replace the usual dials, with a central virtual rev counter that changes its graphics to suit the particular driving mode you've chosen from these two steering wheel buttons. You get a set of rear seats too, the kind of thing that most junior supercars at this price point make you do without. The brand insists that there's 3 more inches of legroom and 2 more inches of headroom in comparison to what was offered by the previous DB9 model, though as you can see I'm brushing the stitched ceiling. As usual with a 2+2 sports car, this space remains suitable for small children, jackets or designer shopping bags only. Finally, let's take a look out back. Now, this car's 65mm overall length increase over the DB9 led us to expect a larger boot, and sure enough, that's what you get. That previous model's restricted 186-litre trunk is here replaced by a much more usable, well-shaped 270-litre space that sensibility might dictate you should fill with the optional bespoke 4-bag designer luggage kit so that you can maximise every inch of it. And in summary, well, as a GT sports car with classic brand heritage for someone who wants a junior supercar but couldn't quite live with one, the DB11 is difficult to better, which is just as well because much is riding on its gracefully arched shoulders. In over 100 years of manufacturing, Aston Martin has never turned a profit. Now it has to. And this is the model that will either lead the company commandingly into its second century or consign it to the kind of fate that befell historic British sports car brands like Triumph and MG. Having tried a DB11, we believe there's reason to be confident about the company's future. Do that for yourself, and we think you'll feel the same way.